to, while we're waiting, I'll go ahead and bring up one of my points here that I wanted to talk this morning. Right here. It's good to make friends and keep them with you because they can help your ministry. And so I wanted to have someone, one of the insurance personnel, to come and talk to us about insurance and the challenges that we are experiencing in our churches. Most of us was with Church Mutual, and what Church Mutual has been doing is sending out two types of letters: cancellation or a premium increase. Because Church Mutual, their insurance rates was not at the industry threshold. So they were cheaper than most companies at that particular time when they rated our churches and gave us those policies. And so one of my friends, Crystal Jones-Dent from St. John AME Church, she has her own insurance companies at Farmers Insurance Agency in Chesapeake, Virginia. And she's been in the industry for 31 years. And so we've been working together for a long time because she's helped me when I was pastoring on the Eastern Shore with some things. And she's helped me at all the churches that I have pastored since been on the Eastern Shore. And she got some good rates. One of the churches that I had, they had flood insurance. And they were paying $4,000 annually. But talking to her, she gave me more insurance coverage for $1,400 annually. So I just saved the church $2,600 annually. And got a better insurance policy for the church. So she serves as a treasurer and steward at St. John. And these are some of the things that she said that I should mention to you all. And she would have been with us, but the date did not coincide with some things that she had already scheduled. And she said the fundamental principle of insurance it should be to restore and ensure the same financial position that you were in before you were lost. And we cannot profit from it. You know, we always like to put that claim in and pray prayerfully that we'll get some extra money to do some other things. But it's just to restore the building back to its standard as a code today. And then she gave me these two definitions, two words: functional replacement cost and replacement cost. Functional replacement cost fits most of our churches that were built prior to 1940. Functional cost is the means that amount which it would cost to repair or replace damaged building with less costly, let me say that again, with less costly common construction materials and methods equivalent to obsolete, antique, or custom construction materials and methods used in the buildings that were built prior to 1940. So if you have an older church that was built prior to 1940, you're going to fall under the category of functional replacement. And what that means is they're going to use today's codes to restore the church. So, for example, if you had, for a wall, some of the churches back in the day were built with cinder blocks and and then they poured a cement wall. But in today's standards, they're not going to do that. They would use today's codes to bring that building back to its glory. Replacement cost is defined as the cost to construct or replace an entire building with equal quality and construction. So I can name a few churches that I think that were built after 1940. I believe First Trinity is one of those churches in Chesapeake that was built after 1940. And we know that Bethel Hampton is one of those churches that were built after 1940. So in the event that one of those churches got a casualty, they'll be restored to the material that was used to build that particular church. And so that's one of the, we have this issue on our district with one of our churches. And in particular with the situation with Ebenezer Roanoke. That particular church has a loss, and they fall in the category of dysfunctional replacement cost. And so the functional replacement cost is less than what it would cost to restore it using those types of materials that was used prior to 1940. And so the congregation is going to have to find out and come up with a decision to how to offset the delta. Because we either going to have to, if we decide to restore it, using that same type of material and the cost that it would cost to replace it there, where is that delta going to come from? Or decide to replace it with today's standards, and the material will be different, but it will be code and covered within the means of the claim that will be the insurance policy, not the insurance policy, the money that they have given to that particular situation. So these are the things that we got to think about. Functional replacement costs and replacement costs. Insurance companies considers churches a high risk. And that was one of the reasons that Church Mutual are now having to redo all of their claims. And so the next area she told me about is what can churches do to protect themselves from high premiums and being dropped or terminated. And that's one of the reasons I implemented when I came on the district, is that I wanted the trustees to have a maintenance plan, a deferred maintenance plan. And I said I wanted you all to be proactive. And that's what she's delineated here, is ways that we can be proactive to ensure that our churches meet the standard. Because all insurance companies are going to do an inspection of your church. And it could happen annually or whatever they deem necessary when they need to do it. I know St. Paul Newport News just went through an inspection. And some other churches you all may be on that to do an inspection. I know St. Paul Danville, they had to go through an inspection. And there are some things that they had to do in order to continue on, and they came back and re-inspected to ensure those items were complete. And so she said, do regular inspections. So trustees, you all need to be inspectors, walking around the church and identifying potential hazards. Electrical, plumbing issues. When you go into the bathrooms, the restrooms, and you see a faucet leaking, that's an issue. We need to fix it. And it's an easy, quick fix. Replace the faucet or replace the washers in the diverter. It's that simple. But you have to turn the water off first. And if you are in proper code, you have a shut-off valve up under the sink. And understand that if you don't have experience, because if that valve happens to leak, and you need to know where the main shut-off valve is. So I'm not trying to encourage you to be a do-it-yourself type of person, but not having limited experience. But these are the things that we need to look at. Checking to see if the roof leaks. Now, if you see white silk, and somehow or another the white is starting to change colors to brown. Now that doesn't mean that somebody shot some brown paint up there. That means you got a leak up there. Somewhere there's a leak. It's going to turn brown. Now, don't try to go to Lowe's or Home Depot and buy some of that Kills. And say, I'm just going to go up there and paint and turn it back white. Because sometimes it works and then sometimes it doesn't. But you didn't fix the problem. So if there's a leak, then bring out a roofer to correct and find out what's going on. Other thing is the walkways, sidewalks, parking lots that is damaged, cracks. Remember this thing about liability. If someone trip and fall because you got some cracked steps, a cracked parking lot, or cracked sidewalk, and now you are liable. So do your due diligence and identify those areas that need to be corrected. Now, if you're in the city, most of the time the city owns the sidewalk. And so when I did a walk around, I found out the sidewalk was all busted up and one layer was higher than the other. And so I went to the city and started complaining. And about 2 or 3 months later, the city came out, paid a contractor to redo the sidewalk because the church didn't own it. So in order to get these things correct, you got to do your homework, you got to do your research. So trustees, you got to be proactive. There's a lot of work to do being a trustee. It's not just being elected. There's a lot of work involved. Regular cleaning and maintaining equipment, repairing any damages to the building. One of my pet peeves is when I walk into a space, and it's part of my background. I don't like to see light bulbs out. When I come to your quarters, I'm looking, because it's just part of me. I mean, I look for lights. And if you don't like changing light bulbs, upgrade to LED. The ones that you don't have to replace. Safety procedures. She said do regular inspections and safety, identify safety procedures. Of having instructions on using equipment at the church, handling hazardous material, and responding to emergencies. And we all should have procedures on how to exit the church in the event of a fire. We all should have emergency procedures on how to, in 3rd Street Bethel, you all have done an excellent job with this. In the event of a bomb threat, you got those procedures on what to do and how to do it. So all of these things you need to be talking and working through. These things will help with the insurance. And I just went over adequate lighting, not only in the church, but outside the church. So if you're having night services, and you don't have the parking lot adequately lit up, you know, we gotta make sure that we're doing what we need to do. Secure the premises. And this actually works well with what the next presenter. She said that churches should feel safe and secure. All doors and windows should be locked when the church is not in use. Make sure all your doors are working. If it's an exit, it ought to work. If it's an exit that has like a little room involved, it shouldn't be a storage space. It should be used for an exit. Also, she said, if you want to have theft included in your insurance policy, then it would be good to have a security system installed. An alarm and video cameras. It will help with the insurance premium. This is to develop a relationship with your neighbors and the police department. Your neighbors, if they see something suspicious, they'll make a phone call. And ultimately, this will help keep the premiums down, and it will prevent you from being dropped from the insurance company. Also, as churches present claims, all the other churches are paying for that. Because as you submit claims, your insurance is going to go up, and all the other churches involved will go up. But now they got to recoup that money. So this is the nuggets that she left me. And again, if you want to talk to her, she left me her phone number and email address, and I'll give those. I can send it to you for you to ask her directly on what your needs may be. Again, that was Sister Crystal Jones and she's a member of St. John's A&E Church. All right. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Will you send those notes out so that they can be represented as trustee boards?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Reverend Wade's question was for me to send her notes to the pastors, and you all can relay them to the trustee boards and to the local church. Yes, sir. And she gave me 2 pages. I just highlighted and pulled some of the things that I thought was important.